Hi, this is Pam Saxman with Capital Coast Realty. And recently I feel like more questions than usual around the different ways that you can build a home. So there is track built homes, there are semi-custom homes, and then there are full custom homes. And there's pros and cons to really each one. So I wanted to dive into that a little bit more. I've had the honor and pleasure of helping 4 folks build truly custom homes this year, and it has been such a great experience, but it's really not for everyone. So I have 5 areas in which they can kind of vary. So I just wanted to break that down in case this is helpful if you're trying to make a decision whether to build or maybe buy resale or buy potentially one that is already built as a spec. So number 1 is really in design choice. So I think this is really the reason why most people think they want to build. There can be so many choices. And for some folks that is really awesome, right? They want more choices, more better, because maybe they play design in their mind at night. I kind of get into this category as well. The pro is there anything that you can imagine you could potentially have in home. The problem with this is that anything that you can imagine, and so for some folks it can become incredibly overwhelming. You think about walking into a full warehouse with all the tile from Italy, from America, Spain, wherever. So choices, is all around you. If that sounds exciting to you, then custom build could be potentially exciting. If that sounds terrible or potentially overwhelming, then I would consider that maybe as a negative factor in potentially building. One other thing to kind of talk about around design that some folks don't really consider is an ARC committee in a neighborhood. So 3 of the 4 building this year have been in one community in Brunswick County, North Carolina, in Ocean Isle, that is incredibly picky. So those choices that the ARC committee kind of put upon my buyers meant that they had to add some things to the home exterior-wise that maybe they wouldn't have initially chosen. And that added some additional costs, and they have built beautiful homes. But it is something to consider around design. It's not just what you want, it's sometimes what the neighborhood will allow. So before you buy the land, before you go down this path, kind of isolate your area, maybe your neighborhood, and do some deep dives around what the architectural guidelines are in that neighborhood. So design is differentiator number 1. One more quick thing on that. If you're building a semi-custom, sometimes that's perfect, right? They will narrow the field down. And so instead of 10,000 different tile choices, perhaps they've curated some that feel like they go together a little bit more. So you have options, but maybe not so many options. Some of our track builders, our production builders, also have some lanes you can get in. Ryan Homes example. I think they have really 4 pallets you can get into, and then you can add from there as well. So that may be an answer for those that don't want so much choice. Number 2, timelines. So if we're looking at a production builder, I'm talking like a Lennar, D.R. Horton, Pulte, their timelines are actually pretty short. And it's really because their process is so incredibly tight. Some can build homes in 5 months. Sometimes it can go to 10 months depending really on the customization and the differences there, permits and that type of thing. But if you're looking for short timelines, fewer choices, great process, get in a house this year, then a production builder may be for you. If you're building a truly custom home, it could be anywhere from 30 to 60 to 90 days, depending on the details, to really get the plans nailed down. So example, if you are truly custom building, not going from an existing floor plan and you've laid it all out kind of on your own, so that may take some additional engineering for the builder to actually look at so he can determine if it can be built, how it can be built, and all the important structural things behind the wall. That can take a little extra time to also do those renderings. So if you're going that total custom route, by the time you buy land and go through this process, I mean, you're looking at the better part of 18 months. Could be longer than that, depends on the complications of the build. So again, timelines can be something that can make a big difference in someone's decision. Loan type, number 3. If a house is already built and it's one of our production builders, this is actually a huge advantage for some of them right now. Some of the builders are buying down those rates and they're providing incentives for buyers. So you may be able to get in at something that has a 4 on it or a 5 on the interest rate instead of 6.5 that we're seeing currently. And they're able to do that, right? They're well funded. So they have these programs that they have some money in a bucket, and if you are buying at the right time and it's an incentive they have, they may be able to help you do that. If you are buying a full custom home, that is what's called a construction to perm loan. Not all lenders do construction to perm loans either. So commonly, people will buy the land, sometimes in cash, right? And they'll take that land and it's almost their down payment for their construction to perm loan. So that is a lender that works specifically with the builder to develop some timelines where they will be able to put draws out for this builder. That can get a little bit more complicated, especially if you're currently living in a home. So you have to walk through that process of, would you qualify to be able to have a construction to perm loan in addition to the current home that you're living in. Then after everything is finished up, the builder takes the final draw, then what is left is put into an actual standard mortgage. But there's a little bit more layers in that process, and that can confuse folks. So again, do your homework. If you want to custom build, you will typically be looking at a construction to perm loan. All right, so number 4, the land component. So this is interesting. I find that some people come to me in different ways. Sometimes they know exactly where they want, they know the land they want, and then we're just choosing a builder. That's more or less in the kind of custom realm mark. So again, I'm standing in Ocean Ridge currently. Some great lots that have been available over the last couple of years. So we've chosen the land based on what we think we want to build. And then we've worked with several builders to actually do plot form maps. So you essentially put the build on top of the plot and make sure the house can fit and how you want to arrange it. So the lot can be an important piece of this. If you're working with a production builder, they really already know what plan that they offer that's going to be able to fit on each individual lot. So again, definitely much more streamlined. Again, it's choice. If you want to be able to choose that lot fully and buy it outright and court the specific builder that you want, just take that into consideration. That's one more decision to make. That is one more piece of the puzzle, which can be sometimes a little bit challenging to get exactly what you want. All right, the final piece of this is really cost. Occasionally, there's someone that comes to me and they say, I want to build custom because I think it might be cheaper than buying a home and remodeling. That's not always the case. So here currently at the beach, prices can range per square foot when you're building. This is independent of land. We can be anywhere from usually $275 to $300 price per square foot is a ballpark. Again, that's not necessarily taking into consideration the land piece of this as well. So it may not be cheaper in your budget. If you're truly looking for cost savings, again, I will say some of our production builders are building gorgeous homes, like really nice. And some of them do allow some customization to choose your tile, to choose your floor color. Maybe not to the extreme as a custom, but you still have some choice. Your lots may be a little bit smaller, but they're already flattened. They've already been prepped. They're ready for a house to be built on it. Your utilities are already there in that neighborhood. So it makes it a lot easier to manage, and usually with that comes some cost savings too. So one other thing that I will add is interesting to me that the process is really essentially the same in a lot of ways once you make some choices, once you get under construction, whether you're building fully custom or you're building a production home. You have a pre-construction meeting with your field manager where they confirm and make sure that they're building the right house, the right elevation, the right all things, right? They may actually talk to you about where your electrical plan will be. They confirm a lot of things before they really get started building the home. And then the house begins, and depending on the builder, there's going to be some changes or some additional appointments there. Production building, your selections, if there are any to make, are done very early, typically before contracting. When you are custom build, a difference can be is that you have allowances for things, and then you have sometimes 3-4 days, full days of pure selections. So again, that timeline and that design choice can be overwhelming for some in that. But then after the house gets started, you have consistent meetings or communication with your builder through pictures and updates. They all use a little bit of a different software, so you see what's happening. And after the house is built, you have an orientation where you go in, you do a loop tape walkthrough, make sure all the items are cleared from any punch lists, and also any inspection items that you have done along the way. I highly recommend using an independent inspector to come in, no matter if you're buying a full custom home or production. We are imperfect people using imperfect products, and it is always good to have another set of eyes to look at a home before you go and purchase it and put that in. So I hope this is helpful. If you have questions on which one might be the right fit for you, please reach out to myself or anyone on our team, and we will be happy to answer any questions for you. Thanks so much.